what about this issue, Dave? And again, I know you're involved in managing a baseball team, but these are such bigger issues too that's in the world. The governor of Arizona says, yes, sports leagues can return in the middle of May, and you're in a county in Los Angeles that's saying, no, we're sheltering in place for another 3 months potentially. So what is that a competition problem? Again, I know that we're talking about life issues, but you're talking about you're going to be managing a baseball team. Would you have an issue if the Diamondbacks had different rules about what they can do and prepare for a game than you?
You know what? It's interesting. That's a great question. And I think that, the overarching, I think it's totally fair for the governor to do that. And I think that when you're talking about state to state, city to city, there's a density situation where Arizona is not as dense as Los Angeles. So that kind of unleashing, taking the reins down, I think that completely makes sense. Now you're talking about the competition thing. Well, you're already looking at a shortened season. I do think that there's a certain, a clear advantage to an organization being able to kind of come together and go to work business as usual and have an extra week to 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever the number of of a ramp up that we wouldn't have. So that's a different discussion. So I think that, the net for me, I would rather teams open up together.
And I guess then again, question, I asked Charlie Blackmon the other day of the Rockies, who I'm imagining you would be in some form of a close proximity or enough to maybe play. He's like, you know what, I'll quarantine if that's what it means. I'll quarantine if that's what it takes. Are you hearing that the teams will have to quarantine? Are you talking to your players about that right now if we are 6 weeks away maybe from first pitch?
No, and I applaud Charlie for feeling that way, but I think that every player and family is different, and I think that which is fair, which is real. And I think that the reality or the idea of quarantining solo, I think is unrealistic, the overall, majority. I think that what I do count on is that the players and their families realize how serious this issue is. So once we do kind of move forward, I would like to think everyone takes it serious and is responsible because, one family member, one player being irresponsible could affect, not only their club but the industry itself. So there's always going to be some margin of risk, as we all understand that going forward. But I do think that quarantining individually for players is certainly unrealistic.
Heck, I hear you. I mean, you're 10 years removed from being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm sure you also have members of the staff that are older and potentially in the I guess age range of being more vulnerable. I mean, this is serious business, man. And it is, and that's the thing is that we can talk baseball. I could talk baseball and sports with you for the next 2 hours. But I do think that it is important for us to kind of, as you kind of brought it to light, is like you've got to be prepared for everything. It's serious business, and I'm a cancer survivor, so am I more in jeopardy than somebody else that's 25, that's completely healthy, has no history? And it's always one of those things where it's all good until it's not, right? So it's like I feel good, but if someone is infected and then something really goes down the wrong path, then now what? So we have to really take it serious, which I know we are as an industry and sports across our country. And I think the conversations like this are healthy. But I also think, Rich, as we kind of started this segment and just talking sports, is healthy as well. Yep, absolutely. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.